Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40K Universe. I am your host, Gersh1, and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we continue talking about the Primarchs as we get into the battle between Lionel Johnson and the Night Haunter, Conrad Kurz. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. We post Warhammer 40K content every single day. And of course, if you have any questions or suggestions, just comment down below. And if you do like our videos, don't forget to share them with your friends. It really helps out the channel. But with that said, let's get into 40 facts on the Lion versus the Hunter. Continuing his obsessive hunt for the elusive Night Haunter, the Lion and Guilliman continuously clashed over policies, especially in regards to the security of the Imperium Secundus, and how best to deal with rebels on Macragge, that the Lion was certain Kurz had something to do with. The Imperium Secundus was the second stellar empire of humanity, created by the Ultramarines Primarch Guilliman during the Horus Heresy, following the horrific events of the Battle of Calth and the Dropsite Massacre. During this time, the light of the great navigator beacon of the Astronomicon was extinguished across half of the galaxy through the efforts of the Wordbearer's Legion's maleficent summoning of the massive warp storm known as the Ruin Storm. Cut off from the rest of the Imperium of Man, and unable to firmly establish whether or not the Emperor of Mankind still lived, or if Terra and the Imperium had fallen to the traitors, Guilliman instituted the ultimate contingency plan to create a second human Imperium in order to ensure the survival of the Emperor's dream of a united mankind. During this time, various traitor Primarchs were tasked by Horus to continue the assault on the newfound Imperium. Kurz was responsible for a lot of the major terrorist acts at this time. Following a suicide bombing of an Astarte convoy, the Lion used his legion to establish martial law on Macragge. Certain that Kurz was hiding within the rebellious Illyrium region, the Lion advocated the use of a massive orbital saturated bombardment of the region to ensure Kurz's death. Facing resistance from both Sanguinius and Guilliman, the Lion instead opted to deploy his legion's Dreadwing in order to flush out Kurz and the rebels. During an attack on the city of Alma Mons, the Lion finally cornered the elusive Night Lord's Primarch, and the two came to blows. After a brutal confrontation, the Lion eventually emerged victorious, and questioned his brother why he had turned away from the Emperor, in which Kurz simply replied, "Why not?" Kurz went on to explain that there was a monster in his head that he could not stop. Though he finally had Kurz at his mercy, the Lion couldn't bring himself to kill his brother, and instead pummeled him again. He then ripped off Kurz's backpack from his battle plate and lifted him over his head, and then brutally brought him down across his knee, breaking Kurz's spine and paralyzing him. The Lion brought his wounded brother before Sanguinius and Guilliman to stand trial. A triumvirate was later held, where Kurz defended his actions but refused to admit his guilt. Since each of the Primarchs had been created to perform a specific function, Kurz was merely acting according to his own nature, and therefore had committed no crimes. The Night Lord's Primarch then further divided Guilliman and the Lion by accusing the latter of secretly ordering orbital bombardments in direct violation of Guilliman's orders. Enraged, the Lion sought to kill Kurz, but was halted by the words of Sanguinius, and Guilliman snatched L. Johnson's Lion Sword and broke the blade across his armor thigh. L. Johnson was furious, but Sanguinius dismissed the Lord Protector, ending the triumvirate. The Lion was then banished from the Imperium Secundus. Taking his leave, the Dark Angels withdrew from Macragge only hours later. Standing in the chamber of the Tuchulcha engine, the Lion brooded over recent events. He questioned his actions over the course of the last few decades, the banishment of Luther, the death of Nemiel, as well as other decisions he had come to regret. As the Dark Angels made their final preparations to depart back to Caliban, the Lion went back to the Tuchulcha engine's chamber. He then ordered the device to teleport himself and Holguin, Deathbringer, the voted lieutenant of the Deathwing, back to Macragge. As Sanguinius prepared to execute Kurz for his crimes, both the Lion and his lieutenants teleported directly into the chamber and told Sanguinius to stop. As troops entered the room, demanding that the Lion surrender, L. Johnson explained his reason for the intrusion. He reasoned that Kurz had the ability to see precognitive visions of potential futures, and repeated the Night Haunter's claim that his death would one day come at the hands of an assassin sent by the Emperor. If this was true, the lion reasoned, then it was proof that the Emperor was still alive. Sanguinius knew that the lion's explanation rang true, as he recognized that his own precognitive visions of his inevitable death would also eventually come to pass. When Guilliman demanded to know what would become of Kurz, the lion knelt before his two brothers and promised that he would be Kurz's jailer. Kurz remained a chained captive aboard the Invincible Reason. The lion occasionally visited him to try and use his prophetic visions and insight into helping their efforts. However, the Night Haunter, having since regenerated from his spinal injury, rarely proved cooperative enough and continued to taunt the lion. Kurz aboard the Invincible Reason was part of the combined fleet of Guilliman, the lion, and Sanguinius as they tried to breach the ruin store and reach Terra. Upon having a vision that his destiny lay at Davin, Sanguinius went aboard the Invincible Reason and took the chained Kurz with him, hoping not only to use his prophetic insight into what he must do, but also try and show the Night Haunter that destiny could be changed. Sanguinius was forced to defeat several Dark Angel guards through non-lethal force, enraging the lion and almost causing him to destroy Davin with cyclonic torpedoes. However, the lion and Guilliman both eventually followed Sanguinius and Kurz to the surface, and together the four Primarchs journeyed to the Temple of Davin, where Horus had fallen. At the temple, Kurz fell into anger and depression as he realized he had foreseen none of this, and that his view that destiny was set in stone was being tested. When Sanguinius was swallowed up by the demon Medeal's portal, Kurz broke down and seemed genuinely concerned for Sanguinius. Guilliman and the lion attempted to get Kurz to predict a way to save Sanguinius, but the Night Haunter, in his despair, declared he had no idea what to do. He had foreseen none of this. As demons erupted across Davin, Kurz was dragged back aboard the Invincible Reason. Following the battle, the ruin storm dissipated and the way to Terra was cleared, but a blockade by the fleet of Horus still remained. Guilliman and the lion agreed to distract the blockade while Sanguinius and the Blood Angels raced to Terra, as was their destiny. Sanguinius took custody of Kurz and brought him aboard the Red Tier, declaring that he would face the Emperor's judgment. However, once aboard the vessel, Sanguinius put Kurz in a stasis coffin, and said just as he was able to meet his destiny on Terra, so must Kurz follow his foreseen path. Sanguinius declared that he would freeze Kurz in the stasis coffin and send him into space. Though it may take millennia for the Imperial assassin Kurz had foreseen killing him to find the Night Haunter, one day fate would catch up. The raging Night Haunter was frozen in the coffin and shot into the void of space. And those were 40 facts on the Lion versus the Haunter. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, share it with your friends. It really helps out the channel when you do so. And hit the like button. It's a quick lore. If you guys want to get more details, of course, check out the novels. The Horus Heresy novels. That's where most of these details are going to be found. It's interesting to read the lore when it comes to the traitor Primarchs before they turn traitor, because a lot of them I feel like were victims. Of course, Magnus the Red we talked about a couple days ago, but even the Night Haunter. How could you not see him as a victim? He was born with just innate paranoia, genetic paranoia, and he's just like he is a product of something that the Emperor created on purpose. Just like Magnus, giving Magnus like powers of the warp and then blaming him for using warp powers. The Night Haunter was born with a genetically weaker mind than the rest of the Primarchs, and it was done on purpose by the Emperor, and he's being punished for that when he went traitor. I really sympathize with Conrad Kurz, especially after he felt for Sanguinius. He understood that Sanguinius was kind of in the same boat that he was. He would sacrifice himself for the Emperor, and of course the Night Haunter would sacrifice himself just to prove the point that the Emperor isn't what he said he was. So yeah, definitely sympathetic towards the Night Haunter. Again, guys, if you like our videos and you want to support us, jump on over to Patreon. A simple $1 a month helps us create more videos for you guys. and then also you get some extra videos along the way. If you can't, we understand. Simply by liking, commenting, and sharing, it helps us out. It tells YouTube that you want to see more Warhammer 40K content, and then at the same time you get a lot of suggestions now relating to the same topic. So if you like 30K and you like the Primarch stories, by liking, commenting, and sharing, YouTube kind of sees that and suggests things with the Primarch tag and all that kind of stuff, the lore on on 30K or the Horus Heresy. But yeah, thanks for everything, guys, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. This was Gersh1 with One Mind Syndicate signing out.